Hello guys, this is the first video to talk about Doha virtual ATC. I will just leave a brief message in Portuguese for the followers that I have in my YouTube channel. Fala galera, essa live aqui vai ser em inglês a partir de agora. A ideia é falar sobre o controle virtual em Doha e para que todo mundo tenha acesso a esse conteúdo, nós vamos fazer a partir de agora em inglês. Ok? Quem aí está treinando a aviação, começando aí seguir os passos, inglês é sempre muito bom. A gente vai aprender também inglês aí com esse vídeo um pouquinho. Com certeza terá alguns erros, mas a ideia é mostrar aqui que a gente consegue, ok? So guys, thank you for being here today. I will talk about the clearance delivery procedures over Doha, especially at Hamad International Airport. So on the right side, on the top part, you can see how you can go to the Qatar State Aeronautical Information publication. Just follow these 4 steps and you have the electronic version for it. Okay? Today we talk about the route on the flight plan, entry and exit points, SID, arrivals, and RNAV SID, conventional SID, flight levels or altitude, and initial calls and clearance samples on VHF and PDC, and finally the airborne frequency after departure in Doha. So I will show you first here my internet. So first thing that I would like to talk about is flight planning requirements for Doha. All traffic departing from airdromes within Doha TMA or overflying the Bahrain FIR shall include entry and exit points of the Bahrain FIR. The departing aircraft on the route of the flight plan shall commence with the last waypoint of the SID related to the ATS route. For example, if you're flying Bravo 457, your first point on the SID should be Patom. The same way for arriving aircraft, your flight plan route shall terminate with the corresponding waypoint of the last ATS route where the arrival commences. For example, Zulu 225 and then Bayan. It says that you should not include anything prior to waypoints Patom, Alven, Ausem, Namla, Bundu, Bata, or Saula for departure flights. And for arrival flights, you should not include anything after waypoints Bayan, Afnam, and Jimto. So why is this? Because SIDs and arrivals, they are dependent on the runway in use, and that will be cleared by the ATC. So I will change now this screen and try to show you the radar screen for Doha TMA. So I'm going here to show you we have these fixes for SID, starting from the north, Patom, then Alven, Vaksin, Ausem, Namla, Bundu, Patna, and Saula. So this should be the first waypoints on the flight plan route, and the ATC will clear the aircraft according to the runway in use. Okay, I will show you the SIDs and arrival names that we have for Doha Let me do another change here on the screen. I want now to show you most probably my PowerPoint. Yes, that's my PowerPoint. I will show you in just a second. Okay, so we have in Doha designations for the departures, and they are based on the runway. So all procedures for runway 34 right in Hamad Airport will have echo. So for example, you have vaccine 1 echo departure. All procedures for runway 34 left will be whiskey. For example, vaccine 1 whiskey departure. On 16 left, you'll have Mike. For example, vaccine 1 Mike departure. And 16 right is Charlie, vaccine 1 Charlie departure, for example. So you can clearly see that it's easy to remember because runway 34 right is the eastern runway, 34 left is the western runway. In OTBD, the Old Doha International Airport, when you depart runway 33, you are departing north, so all procedures will be November. When you depart runway 15, all departures will be south, so you fly Sierra departures. For runway 16 left and right, you cannot follow this, but you can take Charlie as center, so that's the closest runway to the city center or the center runway. And Mike, used for runway 16 left, is the other one. Okay, I hope you all understand this. So I will be back to my internet, and here on the aeronautical information publication for Qatar, you have a table with the required routing within Doha TMA. So this is really good. It's something that you should always have it open when you are clearing a flight plan. So for example, let's take it here. If you have an aircraft departing to Dubai via Doha Hamad Airport, the route should start with Ausem, then Lima 305 to Astog. So that's the standard route for Dubai International Airport. And then Ausem, 1 Echo, 1 Whiskey, 1 Charlie and 1 Mike for Hamad will be based on the departure runway. How do ATC clears an aircraft for departure usually in Doha? Usually I will take just a minute because I will add the radar screen again. Okay, here we have the radar screen again. So usually the east runway is used for departures towards Vaksin, Ausem, Nanla, Bondu and Bata. Bata sometimes can be on the west runway as well, and then the west runway to Bata, Saula, Patom and Alven. This is to restrict the changes in directions after departure for aircrafts. So usually when both runways are operating, you are going to exit Doha sector via Patom. You will be departing runway 34 left, or 16 right. Of course, in the old airport it doesn't matter, it's just one runway, so you don't need to select between runways or SIDs. Okay, we just talked about RNAV SIDs for now. So all those SIDs that we have, they are RNP1, so it requires 1 nautical mile of precision for the aircraft equipment. Conventional SIDs, it's a little different. You just have 2 options for Doha, Hamad, and 2 options for the old Doha, and they just take you through a radial towards points Mushop, Loshu, Nopli, and Derno. For example, if you are departing runways 34 left or right in Hamad International Airport and you are not ARNA certified, you will follow the Muxop departure. That will take you to this point that I'm showing on the radar screen, and from this point on, radar vectors. If you are departing runway 16, you will fly Loksu departure, and for the old airport, departing runway 33, Dernu departure, and runway 15, Nopli departure. Okay, I hope it's clear talking about entry and exit points, the SID that take you to the entry and exit points. Arrival, you are not being clear arrivals, but just as a matter of mentioning flight plan routes, they should finish at the first point for the arrival. And we talk about AirNav SIDs and conventional SIDs as well. So now I'm going to talk about flight levels. I will take you through my internet again. So coming here on my internet, altimeter setting procedures, it says, basically, most probably you already know, that the levels at which a flight plan is to be conducted shall be specified in the flight plan. In terms of flight levels, if the flight is conducted at or above the transition level, and in terms of altitude, if the flight is to be conducted in the vicinity of an airdrome and at or below the transition altitude. I will show you here as well that general procedures, the transition altitude is fixed at 13,000 feet above main sea level, and the transition level is fixed at flight level 150 within Doha TMA. So you have 13,000 for transition, flight level 150 for transition level. That means 14,000 or flight level 140, it's not available within Doha TMA. This is a free space for QNH differences that we may have in the area. So nobody flies between 13,000 and flight level 150. So 13,500 for VFR flights is not available. Flight level 140 for IFR flights is not available. ATC will not clear you to this altitude, and if you are the ATC, you should not clear any aircraft to these altitudes. Easy, I think. If you have any doubt, you can always comment on this video and I will try to reply as soon as possible. If I cannot, I will make another video about it. We'll talk about as well today initial calls and occurrence samples. So I will again change the screen here to my PowerPoint, and voila, we have the PowerPoint here again. What I would like to talk about it now is that the pilot initial call on VHF should be call sign with type, stand, flight level or altitude, propose, and destination. I can show you that. This is based on the aeronautical information publication as well. You also have on the charts, and I will show you just in a minute. I need to take this off. Okay, so on the charts you will have something like this, that departing aircraft shall contact Hamad clearance delivery on Hamad clearance delivery frequency 120.875 10 minutes prior to startup and pass the following information, basically the one that I show you. If you are using, if the pilot, is using PDC, so data link for that, you will have something like it's required by the pilot just before sending the PDC to state the flight number, facility, departure, destination, the ATC, the gate, and others as a free text. I can show you that as well. For example, the aircraft I currently fly has this as, just a minute because I need to take another photo here. So okay, I just got it, so I will show you. This is the data link, the communications for the aircraft I currently fly, and as you can see, you need to add the flight number, the facility usually is the same as departure, then destination, the ATC you took via voice or via data link, it doesn't matter, and your current position on gate. If you have other things you can add on free text. So the things that we have, they are a little different. As you can see, you don't mention the ATC on VHF, and by PTC you don't mention the flight level, altitude. This is just a matter of configuration. Okay, and then if you have occurrence by voice, it should be something like you state the call sign, then clear to, the limit usually is the destination. In this example we have here Mumbai, and then you state climb via the departure you have, in this case vaccine 1 echo, departure to altitude 7,000 feet and squawk 2721. Usually if the pilot receives the same clearance by PDC, you have the call sign clear to the destination, in this case Victor Alpha Bravo Bravo, off runway 34 right, so it mentions the departure runway via vaccine 1 echo, departure, squawk 2721, next frequency 120225. And a few differences here. When you receive the clearance by voice, the ATC has to mention the final SID altitude. How do I know the final SID altitude? Just check the SID chart and you'll see that on the vaccine 1 echo departure the final altitude is 7,000 feet. This is not the cleared initial altitude because it says climb via the vaccine 1 echo departure. That means the pilot should comply with all altitude restrictions. And I have another thing for you now. Let me do another change here. Just a minute, because I need this. And as an example, I will show you the departures from runway 34 right in Doha. You can see that they are all departures from 34 right because they finish with echo, with the east runway. So when you are clearing an aircraft by voice, you clear the aircraft to the final SID level. For example, AWSEM 1 echo is 7,000, or the other one we used on the sample before, vaccine 1 echo is 7,000, but the initial level for vaccine 1 echo is 4,000, and you have other intermediate levels until you reach 7,000. So the pilot should follow this departure via SID vaccine 1 echo to 7,000. If by any reason the pilot gets confused and he asks about the initial level, again, go to the SID and state the initial level. So you should do something like this: initial altitude 4,000 feet, climb via the SID to altitude 7,000 feet. Then the pilot will be sure that he is going to climb to 7,000 following all the constraints on the SID. I hope that's clear as well. Another thing that we can talk about, I will come back to my PowerPoint here, and as you see, you have next frequency. I'm sorry, I just move it here. Okay, you have next frequency on the PDC. Because you are not in contact by voice with the ATC, so the PDC tells you which is the next frequency that you are going to call, usually for pushback and engine start. This frequency you will pass to the aircraft after the readback on voice if you are using voice. So after the aircraft readback, usually you say readback is correct, call ground on 120.225 for pushback and start. That's why you don't have to say that on the departure clearance. You wait until after the readback. Okay, I'm clearing this PowerPoint now, and I will talk to you now about the airborne frequency. So I give you my internet again, and just let me find this information. It says here on departing flights and general, says all departing aircraft when airborne contact Doha approach on 119.725 unless otherwise instructed. So you don't have to mention the frequency after takeoff because it will always be 119.725. This is also stated on the airport ATC, and it doesn't matter if it's Doha Old Airport, Doha Hamad New Airport, or even Al Udeid Air Base, so that we can talk about Al Udeid in another video. So this is clear state in the aeronautical information publication, on the charts, and by ATC. So at some point the aircraft or the pilot will get this information from. Okay, I hope it's all clear. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as I mentioned during the video, any doubt, any comment, just share on YouTube here on the comments, and I can talk to you through the comments or even make another video talking about it. I hope you enjoy and have a great day.